Look at that styling. This was the future. So you join me today from a very, very windy British Motor Museum for the Footman James Coffee and Chrome event. So a lot of cars here to see. Despite the weather and the wind, we're going to have a battle round and see what we can see. So from the days when Opals were sold alongside Vauxhalls in the UK is this record Berliner HL. You'll probably recognise the silhouette because it's closely related to the Carlton. So the Carlton came out, I think, in what, 79, something like that. They did sell the cars alongside each other for a while. It's got a fabulous interior. Not sure if you picked up on camera. It looks like a 70s suite from DFS. Ask your parents, kids. That's a real rare car today. So Ford were very late to the small car party, and in 77 they launched the Fiesta. So this is a Mark 1 car. It's a late one. It's probably on the cusp of a change. It's a 1980. Somebody's modified this with wider steel wheels. Doesn't it look an absolute treat? Love the colour. What's that? Oyster gold maybe? I don't know. So this is a rare treat. It's a Gordon Keable Jara designed with, I think, a 4.6 Chevrolet engine in from memory. What a fantastic car, a real supercar. The company unfortunately went bankrupt after making 99 cars. I think a couple were completed later from parts, but purely because of an issue with a supplier, I think of steering boxes or something like that. It's absolutely mint. Got the turtle logo, as you'd expect. High level. So even mirrors were an addition back in the day. You had to pay for a mirror. Doesn't that look an absolute treat? So from a Gordon Keable to a Rover. This is a 92 Rover R8, I think, from memory. I think it's an R8 216 GTI with a twin cam 16 valve, and that's the Honda engine. And not so many of those, because that's quite a high spec. I think the volume cars were the 1.4s, but that's great to see that one, isn't it? So this is a great example of a 90 E30 full cabriolet, not the Bauer cabriolet, the semi cabriolet. These are worth extraordinary amounts of money these days, but they are, to be fair, they're pretty cars, very usable, full four-seaters, and that's the 320, so that inline straight six, petrol, beautiful. So a couple of special looking minis here, and first of all we've got the Radford, built by Harold Radford Coach Building Company. Got some lovely features here. We've got that chrome strip around the front of the scuttle, and it's got a full length, what would that be, a Webasto sunroof. I think those are Dunlop Sport, or Cosmic, apologies, Cosmic alloy wheels. Beautiful car, isn't it? Doesn't have the hatch as some of them had. I thought that Radford's had the full hatch, but this one doesn't. But must be a late car. What, 75? So here's my 1990 Mercedes 190. It doesn't always feature in the videos, so I'm giving it a shout out today. It's 34 years old, a bit later in June. It is a relatively rare colour, Escort grey, a battleship grey solid colour rather than metallic, and I've had it for the last 3 years. So I made a video last year celebrating the anniversary of Janetta, and this is one of their famous hits. It's the Janetta G15. It's an IMP based car in the sense of it's rear engined, and the IMP engine is right there. It was a lightweight sports car developed by the Walclip brothers back in the day, and the company's still going strong today, which is brilliant, isn't it? So this is a tiny little Lotus Elan. I mean, for scale, look at the Series 1 Range Rover at the side of it. But it's a little beauty, isn't it? This one's not over restored. It looks very used, very usable. Got the famous Paul Matty sports cars, well known for Lotus. And it's a H, what that's make it, 1970, I think. So this is one of 43 Ferrari 250s. It has been lovingly restored mechanically, but the owner's chosen to leave the vehicle in its as found unrestored condition. I don't know if that would be for everybody, but at least you wouldn't be afraid of people walking around it at car shows. And it is absolutely incredible. I mean, difficult to know what to say with that one, isn't it? I mean, it must be absolutely priceless in any condition, never mind the as found condition of this one. So this is a treat. We know it as a Vauxhall Nova, but this one is an Opal, and it's a GSI. It's a late car, got some lovely OZ alloys, recognisably the GSI, still badged in it, got those stripy red and grey seats in there. Actually a lovely nick. It's probably come from far warmer climates than we're in at the moment, but that is a beauty, isn't it? So the so-called Pagoda, I think was launched in '63 at the Geneva show. I think it was 60 years old last year or something like that. Absolutely mega car, worth huge amounts of money now. This one's a stunner. It's a left-hand drive car. Not sure where that would have come from. This beautiful ivory hood over that sort of, what, Ypres green, something like that. I'm not sure the official colour, but it just looks a treat, doesn't it? What a treat. So VW's attempt to try and broaden the range away from the Beetle. I think this is a Type 4, it's a 72. Apologies if I'm wrong if it's a Type 3, but I think it's a Type 4. Lovely resplendent in orange. You remember the days that you'd have a 3-door estate car? It seems a bit ridiculous now, doesn't it, to imagine an estate car that's only a 3-door, but there you go. It's in lovely condition, isn't it? So this truly is badge engineering at its best, with BMC having a Riley badge version of the Mini. A bit more than that because it's obviously got the front on there, but it's much more usable than a Mini because you've got that boot at the back. I'm not sure about the styling. Does it work? I don't know. I think it probably does actually. So this is another VW. It's a Type 3, again Beetle based. Maybe a South African vehicle. I don't remember whether these were sold here, but it's a sort of semi-van version. It's only got one side window rather than two, and it's a semi-commercial vehicle version. Unusual, that, isn't it? So here's a rare treat. It's a Ford sport car, and it's in green. I think one of my subscribers has one of these, so shout out to her. And these really are really thin on the ground now, aren't they? When's the last time you saw one of those? So built up in Washington Tyne Weir and had a few iterations of different owners, but it's a Clan Crusader. So again, it's imp engined, rear engine car, and a bit, you know, far better than maybe its kit car origins would give it credit for. But great to see that here. You rarely see these, they are rare. So this is a Volvo P1800S. Production moved to Sweden. Originally production was I think partially completed by Jensen under contract because Volvo didn't have capacity, probably building the Amazons then. These are starting to be worth pretty big money, but there's something about them, isn't there? Maybe I watched too many repeats of the Saint when I was younger, but I can certainly see the attraction. Now somebody's braved the weather and driven this one here, and it's an MG. Is it a TC? I'm not sure. Apologies folks, I'm not quite sure about that. It looks like a 30s vehicle from the registration number perhaps. Pays nil road fund licence anyway. Well, what a way to travel that is, and it's very pretty. Lovingly restored by the look of it, or very well kept. There are a treat those. I know they're a very niche car these days, but it looks great to me. So another rare treat is a Midas. Now this looks to be a later car. The company originally founded by Harold Dermott, a Jaguar engineer, went bust due to a factory fire despite a pretty full order bank, but then I think it continued under other owners, and this one's been lovingly modified by the look of it. So this is a relatively early Volvo. It's a P544, but look at this styling, how the styling is reminiscent of the 40s Beetle-back US cars, and a bit like the look of the some of the standard cars of the period, and really rare to see one of these. Never officially imported into the UK, I believe. So like Armstrong Siddeley, Bristol diversified out of plane production following the end of World War II, and basically produced some designs that were originally based on BMW designs. I think this is a later car. I'm not quite sure what the model is, so forgive me, but I tell you what I do like about this one. It's got some incredible looking fins on the back of it. Take a look at that. That's just downright different, isn't it? Look at those. So looking at the number plate, this is a Japanese market. E39 BMW, you know, a car that was made with huge strides forward, a lot of aluminium suspension components, took a lot of weight out of the car. Probably the last great 5 Series. Some people might argue differently, but this one is a treat. And the paintwork, this metallic matte paintwork on it, is absolutely flawless. It's a 525i, so looks like one of the later cars. Looks a treat. So built to plug a gap in the range with the what the Cortina left when the Sierra came in, which was originally hatchback only before the Sapphire. Ford launched the Orion. This is a later one based on the Mark IV Escort. These was, as somebody just remarked to me, you know, almost white goods. I had a 1600 LX. In fact, I think I had 3 of these when you count them up, and they are incredible sized boots on them. Maybe not the most resolved in terms of design language, I suppose, but extremely useful car, and actually good to see it here today. I haven't seen one for a long time. Not as standard as that one, so not really appreciated yet. Hasn't suffered the Ford tax. When will it? Is the Ford Puma one of the best handling cars? Absolutely killed the opposition when it's launched. I think Vauxhall launched the Tigra and it completely mullered that car almost straight away. Isn't that new age styling? It just works, doesn't it? Just absolutely works. I would love to own one of those, have a go on one of those at some stage. So we've got an eclectic mix here of a 205 GTI. It's a 1.6, despite it's got 1.9 wheels. We've got a dealer special edition Escort Harrier. Ford spent £1 billion or something developing this version of the Ford Escort, and it was absolutely panned at launch, but by later days, this is 92, they'd really honed it into a decent family car. But unfortunately, it caused them such a shock at the time that they took a different direction with the Focus that followed. Now this is a 1957 Studebaker. Look at that styling. This was the future. Everybody thought this look would be the future. So this one has been a little bit modified, but not quite as much as you would think. Clearly custom paint job, slightly wider arches. I think it's a 5.7 litre. Wow, you would really stand out. It's got this air conditioning, or this unit to get cold air into the cabin, and well, it's difficult to know what to say, isn't it, really? It is an absolutely standout car, isn't it? So typical BMC or British Leyland was utilising the doors on the Land Crab and the Austin 3 litre, also for the Maxi, which made the passenger compartment unusually big. So we had one as a family way back in the day, and people could not believe getting 3 kids and a whole load of luggage into the car was possible, but the amount of room in that one is incredible. It's almost limo-like rear legroom. So nice to see yet another Capri 2.8 injection. Not quite the run out, but it is a 5-speeder. I've had a look already. Early cars were 4-speeders. Those wheels, even those optional wheels, look absolutely tiny. But I never tire of seeing these. I only ever drove a 1.6 Laser, and the bonnets seemed a bus ride away, but great cars. Now this is probably Citrin at its best, with its maybe last roll of the dice with hydropneumatic suspension on this size of car. I can't remember that, but it is a Citrin Xantia. So it's what, a 94 on an M, and got that sort of unique semi, it looks like a boot, but in fact it's a hatchback. That looks a treat, doesn't it? Arguably one of the prettiest hatchback ever made is a Peugeot 205. Even in this relatively basic trim, don't they look just right? Particularly in 3-door form rather than 5-door, but all of them look great. And lovely to see one surviving, and it's a 205 automatic. Why did so many automatics survive? I don't know. This, I believe, I've seen this one before, and it's a British built, because Renault did build cars in the UK, Renault 4CV. All about getting France motorised after World War II. A bit of a Beetle vibe going on, I guess, rear engine of course, but yeah, suicide doors, what more could you want? So we've got a treat here now. We've got a Porsche 914 joint venture with Volkswagen and Porsche, 914 4-cylinder, 916 6-cylinder. This one's a treat. It looks like it's been lowered a little bit. You just don't see them that often. I don't think ever officially imported into the UK. Massive sellers in the US. And what, rear mid-engine, something like that classed as? Does look nice. And next to it, a Toyota MR2, midship runabout 2, early cars. I think, but B-platers, this is an E, so what that make it, 87, something like that. They did rot away, sadly, a lot of these, but great little cars. Look at that stubby little gear change there. This has got the sunroof rather than the twin roofs, and actually, it looks in really good order, doesn't it? Something about that shape, isn't it, that looks so right that maybe the future cars didn't, or the cars that would come after it, didn't quite capture. Now I think these were launched in 1995, very first cars were on M-plated. This one says it's a T-plate, which would make it a 99 if that's right, not sure. Old English white, looks like it's a VVC because it's got the bigger alloy wheels on. These were fantastic cars, and they still are. You know, again, people just berate them because of the K-series engine, but I think they're far better understood with the head gasket issues these days, and surely volume cars, but surely more collectible and rare in that old English white, I guess. So just looking at this really, I guess, American influenced muscle car styling of this Toyota Supra. Not sure if it's the turbo or the non-turbo 3 litre. It's a manual or probably an auto. I know it's an auto. There's many were autos. Got a bit of a look of a 944 about it, crossed with an American muscle car, but again, you don't see that many of them here today. So built by Jaguar to support Team Sky, where they were a sponsor for a period of time, is this F-Type. So the F-Type's gone out of production, but this is the one that they built that's got a bike carrier. It looks like a carbon fibre bike carrier, so I'm not so much sure how much noise that makes. At speed, I did see this one last week at Brooklands, but wasn't quick enough to film it. But I didn't realise it had come all the way from the British Motor Museum, so they really got on their bike for that one, didn't they? So this transaxle design Porsche 944, a development of the 924 early cars, came with a 2.5 litre engine. Probably this is an 83, it might be a 2.5 litre, got those lovely cross-spoke Porsche alloys. It's a 4-seater, maybe not a full 4-seater, but they are attractive looking cars. Big old sunroof in there, isn't it? And a whale-tail spoiler, probably not that quick by today's standard, but they do look good, don't they? So from a very windy British Motor Museum, thanks again for joining me on Lot 76 Cars. I hope you've enjoyed the show today here at the Coffee and Chrome event. Please like, share, subscribe, and as always, once again, thanks for watching.